What's up, everybody? This week I want to tell you about a friend of mine, Jeffry Pondaag, who published a letter a couple of days ago due to the Dutch Indies commemoration. And I want to address his statement because I think it's a very powerful statement, and I think that it provides a decolonial perspective on the Indonesian independence struggle. In his letter, he addresses a couple of points, but I want to highlight two of them. The first one is the commemoration of the victims of the Japanese invasion. So the way this commemoration is positioned is that the Dutch were victims of the Japanese invasion, while in fact the Dutch occupied Indonesian land. So they were not just victims, they were actually perpetrators. They were actually criminals occupying Indonesian land and oppressing the Indonesian people. And so for the Dutch Indies commemoration to only commemorate Dutch victims actually denies the role they played in this colonial context. The second point that he raises is the issue of the actual independence date. So when Japan was defeated by the Western powers, Indonesia proclaimed its independence on August 17th, 1945. And the Dutch state actually continued to wage a brutal war and finally recognized the independence of Indonesia on December 27th. And to this day, the Dutch do not acknowledge the independence date of Indonesia on August 17th, 1945. And the war is seen as a way to gain control over the land. The reason why the Dutch state is so hesitant to acknowledge the independence date of Indonesia on August 17th, 1945 is because if they acknowledge the independence date as proclaimed by Indonesia, they also admit to the war crimes they have committed, because then they have actually waged a war on Indonesian land that was not theirs. And so the independence struggle is about acknowledgement, about recognizing the actual independence date, about acknowledging the pain and suffering of Indonesian victims, and acknowledging the occupation by the Dutch of Indonesian land. This is the issue that Jeffry is actually raising in his letter, and I'm actually going to interview him for the documentary, so I'm really looking forward to hearing his analysis and experiences and perspective on the Indonesian independence struggle. That's it for this week. I want to thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week.